This is a Fox News alert. President Donald Trump and members of his cabinet are in The Hague. They're in the Netherlands this morning for the NATO summit, sitting down with world leaders amid the global unrest.
This is live. Senior White House correspondent Jacqui Heinrich is there following the president and joins us now with the latest. Jacqui.
We're told that's not live. He's going to be speaking in a little bit.
Oh, that wasn't? Okay.
We will be hearing from him soon. We actually heard from him just a little while ago, guys, and he had a lot to say about the U.S. strikes on Iran. He compared the bombs that were dropped to the bombs the U.S. dropped on Japan to end World War II, saying that both cases were bombs basically that ended wars. He said Iran's nuclear program has been set back, he believes, by decades because he thinks that the Iranians are not going to try this whole thing again.
The last thing they want to do is enrich anything right now. They want to recover. And we won't let that happen. Number one, militarily we won't. I think we'll end up having somewhat of a relationship with Iran. I see it. Look, I've had a relationship over the last 4 days. They agreed to the ceasefire. And it was a very equal agreement. They both said that's enough.
The president also countered that leaked preliminary low-confidence assessment, saying that he believes Iran never got a chance to remove the uranium ahead of the strikes because the U.S. acted so fast. He also revealed Israel is releasing a report soon that will concur with his description of total obliteration of those facilities. Now the president's turning his focus to NATO after appearing to possibly be wavering on the U.S. commitment to mutual defense on his way here, which in that case, he said there are, quote, numerous definitions of Article 5. It spooked European officials, but they had a collective sigh of relief this morning at this answer. Listen here.
We're with them all the way. I mean, if you take a look at the numbers, we're with them. And they have very big things to announce today. I don't know if you've taken the vote or you're going to take the vote, but I've been asking them to go up to 5% for a number of years, and they're going up to 5%. That's a big, from 2%. And a lot of people didn't even pay the 2%. So I think it's going to be very big news.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has tried to stave off any chance that the president would back away from NATO as Russia's war in Ukraine has really exposed Europe's vulnerability, including by texting the president this: Donald, you have driven us to a really, really important moment for America and Europe and the world. You will achieve something no American president in decades could get done. Europe is going to pay in a big way, as they should, and it will be your win. Although concerns about Russia really underpin all the conversations that are happening here, we are not expecting a fiery joint statement that's like the ones in the past condemning Russian aggression, because folks here know that President Trump is really trying to get Russia and President Putin to the negotiating table in a real way to try to move this forward. And more evidence of that this morning. You had Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying that we're not going to do everything as a country that everyone wants us to do, including ramp up those sanctions at this time that everyone is, especially Zelensky's been calling for, because they're trying to just get these conversations going in the right place. The president will be meeting with Zelensky. We expect that he's going to make that request to impose those heavy sanctions, make that request to the president, guys.
Jacqui, it appears that the tone, just you're there so you can give us a better outlook, seems different. Looks like it's a more collaborative appreciation of the president there right now. What can you tell us?
Yeah, you just heard the Secretary General really crediting the president for making NATO a stronger, fairer alliance. And those words are a long time coming, because in his first term, you remember the president complaining that NATO countries were not pulling their own weight. They were not meeting their, at that point, 2% obligation to spend 2% of their GDP on defense, and really expecting the U.S. to carry all of NATO in terms of its capacity for defense. But the war in Ukraine has exposed so much vulnerability that there's been a shift in attitude among all these countries, and there was an eagerness for these countries to ramp up their own defense production to make sure they don't get into a space where they could run out of artillery, which was a real concern, and also plan for the future, and to make sure that the U.S. commitment to NATO doesn't fracture, because that capacity, as we just saw with the military might in Iran, is so critical to giving NATO the power that it has always had. They do not want to see the president or the United States back away from this alliance, and so they're doing everything they can to basically accommodate President Trump and show him that he has made a difference and that his presence and the U.S. presence matters.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Jacqui.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.